Well, it's 4 below. It's snowing, and we got some high winds occasionally. And so, hey, welcome to Integrative Preparedness. How are you all today? Well, we got to get out because we have an emergency. We have a snow emergency. We're out of eggnog. So Kelly and I got out. We ran out. I do want to talk today about snow, about emergencies, about that kind of thing. But we discovered last night that we needed a whole bunch of eggnog. As prepared as we are, we don't stock multiple years of eggnog, and we got a big Christmas party coming up, New Year's Eve celebration with her family, New Year's Eve, and she went to the store last night and they were all out of eggnog, so we're going to get there early today to try to snatch some if they've delivered overnight. Anyway, what?
Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve. What did I say?
New Year's Eve.
Did I say New Year's Eve? I didn't mean to. See, the cold's got in my brain. Yeah, Christmas Eve. So anyway, it's pretty out here. We love the snow. We didn't get as much as we thought we would. They like to scare you about this stuff. People are just enamored with the weather. And I guess that's normal because, deep down in the basic, parts of us, it's always been us against the weather. Our oldest son used to love getting up when he was just about 5 and 6 years old and watch the Weather Channel. And a couple of the best feelings in the world probably are to be warm when it's cold outside and to be dry when it's wet outside. So anyway, we're headed out to get our eggnog. But what I want to talk about, my question is snow and cold an emergency? And I want to say that it's not, or it shouldn't be. Now, it can be. It can be. If you're out driving in, Wyoming and Montana and the Dakotas or western Kansas, like they're getting hit hard, and your car breaks down, and you're not prepared, and you don't have the proper stuff in it, and nobody's going to be coming along for hours, you could have a real problem. But for the most part, snow and cold, and I know that I'm going to dash some prepper fantasy here. Cold and snow are simply weather. We know it's coming. We know it's coming in July, right? Those of us who have paid attention through the years know that July is hot. Guess what? December, January, February is going to be cold. Probably going to snow. Probably going to have some high winds, and we'd better be ready for that. So most of us are. So this stuff is not an emergency, unless you're out of eggnog. And but it is a good training situation. If you are locked down. Now there are some people without power. That's a subject for a whole nother video that we've kind of covered. By the way, I've been running a flower pot heater in my office, and it is keeping it toasty. Well, I won't get into the whole thing about heating the house. We have a house that can sometimes be difficult to heat evenly, but that's been just doing a great job, and I'll probably make a video on that here in the next week or so. But even though this is not an emergency, and although I know that it gets everybody all wound up, everybody wants to watch it, and it's kind of cool, I'm sure. I love watching the snow. Kelly and I was out scraping the car. My phone rang. I didn't want to take off my glove to answer it, but it turned out to be her. She says, hang on, where are you going? And I says, I'm going to the store. Hey, hang on, I'm getting dressed, I'll go with you. So it's kind of fun to get out here. But use these situations as training. It shouldn't be an emergency for you. It shouldn't be a surprise to you. But just imagine, there are just just imagine that you're one of those people. Hopefully you're not one of those people who have lost power. But if you are and you're prepared, everything's fine, isn't it? You all fine? You know how to stay warm, right? You got your gas tanks topped off. You got your propane topped off. You have your emergency lighting. You have all the food that you'll need if you're snowed in for a couple of years, right? You've got water. You don't have to worry too much about marauding hordes out here when it's cold, because most marauding hordes are made up of people who don't like to suffer and get out in the snow, especially early in the morning. Here, this is our source. This is our eggnog source, because our favorite eggnog is Anderson Erickson. My kids won't drink Highland. I don't like it either. So here we're pulling up to the big supply depot called Hy-Vee. So anyway, if you're prepared, this isn't affecting you much, right? If you've got power, go ahead and go through a little drill saying, okay, what if our power went off? What are we going to do? What would we do? Would we call Uncle Buck and have him come over to us, or do we go over to his place, or whatever? There was a big storm. Oh gosh, I don't know. It's been 30 years ago, something like that. The Kansas City just got demolished, and all of my family had to come over. And this is before I was married. All of my mother and brother and sister and grandmother and aunt, everybody had to come over to my house because they lost their power. And have those plans. Know what you're going to do. Keep your communications open. So anyway, hope you all are doing well. Just remember, this is fun. It's fun to think about. It's kind of like a roller coaster. You know that it's not really a problem, but it's scary, and people like to be scared. People love to talk about it. But, weather is weather. Matter of fact, Kelly's dad was telling us not too long ago about when he was a kid growing up in Minnesota, and they all slept. How many brothers and sisters did he have?
9.
9. Okay, so 9 kids. They all slept upstairs, and essentially, a second floor that was about like an attic because it wasn't insulated. He says, they had an outhouse. And this is in Minnesota. And I know a lot of you guys live up in Minnesota now. I doubt many of you still using an outhouse. But he's telling the kids about how they'd look up and there was no insulation in the house. They used to make houses essentially without insulation. And the nails that were holding the shingles, the roof onto the boards, the nails that were driven through and sticking out of the ceiling up there were frosty and icy because it was so cold. I mean, how it got down to the 20 below up there. And you know what? They just lived their lives. They just got up and went to work. They just got up and went to school. I know Kevin Altapeter up there is going to work, and some of the rest of you are going to work, and it's just a thing, right? It's just weather. So be ready for it, and you'll be fine. Don't get all bent out and twisted around the axle about it, but do use it as a learning and a training experience. I know I've let you be looking at a McDonald's, and that's not good for 5 minutes. But I'm signing off because we have to go make our emergency eggnog run. You all have a good day, and I'll talk to you later.